And my microphone was muted as I said that. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. We're just going to wait a couple minutes for some other people to join. We're maybe 1 or 2 minutes after the allotted time. So we'll just wait for a couple seconds for this. Thanks for your patience and talk to you soon. Great, so we'll begin tonight. My name is Dylan Richardson. I'm the World Para Powerlifting Performance and Development Manager. You're going to hear maybe the next 45 minutes me speaking about LiftingCast. So as you know, this presentation or this webinar is about using LiftingCast at a national competition. Something we're really excited about, something that will make national competitions a lot more professional, a lot more efficient, for the local organizing committee, for the athletes, for the coaches, but most importantly for you as a technical official. So we think this is a really nice step forward that will really help you. So we're excited that you're here and to learn about it. So just quickly about the webinar protocol. So I will be delivering this in English, but local language captions are available. So you'll see in the image to the right. We're able to turn on captions to English. Sorry, my accent's very thick. French, Arabic, Portuguese, Spanish, and Russian. So to initiate these, somewhere on your desktop, on your web platform, or your mobile device, there should be a little CC icon. So if you click this or you click the settings to initiate captions, click on that and select your preferred language. So your video and your microphone are often muted. So to leave a question, please do so in the question and answer area. So it should be signified by a question mark symbol or something like this. They aren't posted directly, they're moderated. So I have it up on another screen here. So that's why maybe you'll see me looking towards the left or to the other side, because I'm looking at these if a question comes in, and for sure we'll be able to answer it. This webinar is for you, and it's to support you on how to learn to use LiftingCast. So I encourage you, if you have any questions, please do so. I think there is about a 15 to 30 second delay and from what I'm saying to when you're seeing it. So I'll try to be conscious of this through the next 45 minutes to 1 hour. This webinar is being recorded, so I'll post it afterwards in the hub. And at the end also, I'll share the links to the handbook or to the guide and the activity that's already located in the hub. And this webinar should be really practical. So I'm gonna do a couple of slides just about a bit of the background, but really run through step by step how to use it. So I think some questions will come up, or I suspect some things. I have some notes to the side here. Some things at national competitions, like using the AH formula, athletes that are juniors and seniors, just how to advise your local organizing committee. Maybe many of you are wearing multiple hats within the National Paralympic Committee or National Federation, or at the local or regional level. So also acting as kind of the not only the technical delegate or a technical official within the competition, but also playing a part as being the host. So at the end, I'll talk a bit about the cabling and some of the electronic needs. It's really basic, but just a quick overview of if I were to run a national competition, what I would advise through training and practicing on this. So the problem. So I always like to begin with this question. So when we go to a World Cup, regional championships, an international event, we see these scoreboards. We have providers that provide amazing, beautiful scoreboards, attempt boards for the athletes, and it makes the competition really, really easy for everyone, right? Everything's clear for the coaches, clear for the athletes. In the warm-up area in the front of house, it's really clear. But we know at our national competitions or our local competitions, we don't have this luxury. So we see I have a picture from Japan, and I compare it to American baseball, that under national competitions, it's really manual. It's a lot more work. So we see this example with Japan, they're using an Excel sheet. And this is for the technical official's role in the host. We don't have the luxury of a provider or someone that's being paid lots of money to do this job. It's really up to us. So the picture to the right there is the person manually changing the scoreboard, and maybe at national competitions, this is what it feels like. Luckily, we have a solution. So we've been collaborating with LiftingCast in the past little while to work on some modifications to their system to adapt to the World Powerlifting rules. So yeah, we've now integrated most of these into the LiftingCast system. It is free, so this is we're trying to make a really good scoring system option available to member federations, to technical officials, to regional federations, accessible. So we're not, cost isn't a barrier, internet connection isn't a barrier. So you do at some point need to have an internet connection, but it doesn't need to be active. So what I mean, to use it, if you go open your Internet Explorer, you open up LiftingCast, you start working on the competition, but you could take your computer, travel on a bus or travel to the venue, and if it doesn't have internet connection, LiftingCast will still work. So this is a huge, for some people in different nations where the internet connection isn't consistent, or at a venue or a gym or a training hall that isn't necessarily there. It's a really good option that you don't need to have a consistent internet access. So it's free, you don't need consistent internet, it supports our rules. It also automates a lot of processes. So similar to a World Cup or an international level competition, we know that the start lists are automatically produced, the weigh-in sheets, kit check, all of this, they're automatically done by the timing and scoring provider. Well, this solution will solve a lot of these problems. So it'll produce some of these automatically. You'll just need to print them out if you choose to do so. And then the last huge benefit of this is the improvement of the look and feel. So not only for the coaches that you're able to set up a scoreboard in the warm-up area, you're able to have an attempt board for the front of house, but also a scoreboard for the spectators or those watching in the front of house, based on whatever monitors or whatever computers or TVs you have. So it's a really, really good solution, and accessible, open, available. So we're really encouraging you to consider using this and talking to your national federations, to your regional and local organizations to consider using this if you choose to do so and if you're comfortable to do so. And hopefully after this you will be. I just want to acknowledge the work of LiftingCast. So it's an American developer. Primarily he developed it, same idea. He wanted to make scoring software. It's a powerlifting fan, a powerlifter himself. He wanted to make a scoring software that was free, easy to use, and available widely to support the development of the sport. So huge shout out to LiftingCast and their collaboration over the past several months to be able to get this done. So just some quick notes before we begin. So it was originally designed for powerlifting, as I said, so IPF style. We have the bench press, we have deadlift, we have squat. So at the moment, we can't customize the system completely to ignore deadlift and squat on some things, let's say the attempt card. Second thing, it has some functionality. You could use Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, but it works best on Google Chrome. So this is just an Internet Explorer, Internet browser. So using it from Google Chrome on a laptop is the best. and it's what they recommend. Any lot, so if you and also on any operating system. So I don't know if you have Windows PC, you have Apple Mac compute using Mac operating system, you have Linux, there's lots of different operating systems. Maybe you have a Google Chromebook, it's the cheapest, most accessible. All you need is Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, and you could use this. So you don't need any special computer, you don't need any special thing. It doesn't have to be a laptop, it could be a wired desktop computer as well, but preferably a computer versus a tablet. It's going to be a lot more functional if you have a mouse and you have a keyboard. And just the last preliminary note, so we have some exchangeable terminology. So I think this is just within the powerlifting and para-powerlifting sphere. It isn't necessarily 100% defined, or some terms are used interchangeably. So I just listed some there, but meet sometimes is listed in LiftingCast throughout. For us, we reference this as a competition. Flight, we consider this a group. Lifter, athlete, weight class, body weight category, award division. So for us, we use this for event viability. So whether we're going if in a category, everyone's awarded a medal or -1 by AH, things like this. Yeah, the medal allocation method. So on LiftingCast, it's just defined as medal or award division. And then the term platform, so we consider this session or event. But hopefully throughout this presentation, I'll go through it and it will be intuitive and understandable by the end of how to use it. So the best way on how to learn how to use it is to show you, or is to run through things. So I have here, start. So we're going to start by opening up LiftingCast and starting to run through how to create a meet and how to use the scoring system. Just give me a second here to change over. Here we go. Okay. So here we have LiftingCast open. So just a simple website, liftingcast.com. You'll see LiftingCast is a meet management. So to create new events at the bottom of this page. So they use these 3 straight lines. LiftingCast calls it the hamburger. So it's a kind of a shortcut to the different headings. So you go to your meets, and you'll see I have one already created for tonight, but you could create a new meet by adding some basic details, the date format. Some of our friends that use different system, or like the metric system, and vice versa. You could also do a meet that displays in pounds. So I know some countries do that. But we'll go into our test meet here. So after you create a meet, it will be hosted on the same computer you're using, or the same internet browser on the same computer from the LiftingCast page. So it does save for a few months. And I think maybe at the end I'll run through this my booklet and confirm exactly how long. So once you open your specific meet, so I just called it WPO test meet, it'll bring you to this landing page. So this is where the key information is about your competition. So you'll see I have my email, the date of the meet name, and some things that I couldn't change. So the Federation, World Para Powerlifting, the date format, and some things like this. So if you do, I'll make this a bit bigger. Excuse me. So if you do want to transfer your meet or your competition to a different computer, you can at any time download the meet data file and then upload it to another computer. So if this is a consideration, whether you're using a personal computer, and let's say at the competition on the day of, you're going to be using the LOC's computer, you could download this meet data and do that. So running through this page, there are some functionalities that we're not advising to use, like displaying the link on the home page, there's a feature that allows athletes to enter their website and enter their rack heights ahead of time, creating multiple platforms, things like this. And based, I'll run through this quickly. It has an attempt board that advises the spotter loaders what disks to load, and they have our loading chart there. But based on every meet, you might have different equipment. So with that, it allows you to input specifically the number of disks you have, the number of pairs you have, and adjust the color. So in the resource I'm going to provide afterwards, or that's already available on the Technical Official Hub for everyone, it has this listed, kind of the standard of what we have at different levels of competition. Also the technical term is the hex color code. So specifically the color of each disc if you want to be very picky and you want it to display properly. So the 10 kilos are displaying green as a reference for you and all the referees on the FOP. So here I have inputted in kind of the standard of what we have at a regular meet. So maybe at most national or local competitions, you don't have 50 kilo discs. Just have the 425s, or based on what you have, you're able to input it and it adjusts for the competition. So just to note here, we don't have a 1.25 disc, it's for IPF, so you can put 0 and it would ignore these. Or if you're running an unsanctioned meet or unrecognized meet and you're using 1.25s based on the training gym you're in or the equipment you have, you're able to do so. So I'm going to come back to this view configuration afterwards, but it basically lets you customize some elements of the attempt board and some elements of the scoreboards. And there's some things here like you could do online meet registration, but at the moment we're not advising to do this. Most federations and local organizations, they have their own method to register athletes. So we encourage you to follow this. So back up to the top, you'll see this hamburger again, and this is your main menu. So you'll see, I'll try to run through all of these in sequential order and what each one does, but always this hamburger is going to be your menu to get you around. So right now we have the meet name and some of the information, so basically the discs. Most important, we need to have award divisions, right? So in our sport, we have 10 men's bodyweight categories, 10 women's bodyweight categories. So with that, we have available a template. So you can create the award divisions manually. So you could you could create one, blah, blah, blah. To make it efficient, we created a template. So this is available on the Technical Official Hub. I'll just share quickly what it looks like in Excel. Just give me 1 second here, meet divisions. So everyone can see that small text of this Excel, but basically it's this is what the back end of the template looks like. It's a CSV file, but for the most part, we encourage you to just download it and upload it to the LiftingCast system. So I'll just hop back over. There we go. So everybody can see that again. So I'm back at the import menu tab. So if you just select divisions file somewhere on your computer, maybe your desktop, we'll have this. And it's available on Hub. You'll have this WPO test meet divisions export, or I think it's called template or something like this. So if you open it, you'll see we have men's AH. So if you have combined categories, you'll have junior, you'll have senior, and the same vice versa for women. So AH, junior, and senior. So the different bodyweight categories, only the bench movement. So we're not having squat, we're not having deadlift, and how it's being scored by. So we actually have for the AH, so if you have to combine categories, we have the AH formula integrated, and so it knows to take, you'll have athletes competing in multiple categories, and to do the final rankings by AH, not necessarily by total or the best lift, like in a normal non-combined category. Most importantly, you just need to, after you select this and it displays the preview, you need to confirm the import. So just by clicking this, it'll prompt a loading screen, and you'll have your divisions imported. So if you just jump over to awards divisions, you'll see that they are confirmed inside the system. So I think I'll hop back to this after, but you'll see so how it's displayed. So the body weight category name, and then the max weight. So this is really important. The system itself actually does a check for you when the athlete completes their weigh-in versus their declared body weight category if there's an error. But I'll hop back to this. But you'll see that the only movement it's doing is bench. So we're getting rid of squat, we're getting rid of deadlift, and this. So we imported our body weight categories in our award divisions. So next, the aspect of the sport we need is the athletes. So we encourage you not to do the registration by LiftingCast, to work with the local organized committee, national federation, local organization, or National Paralympic Committee, National Federation, whichever organization you're working with, to manage the registrations with this. If it is a recognized meet, our team will support with some of the registration and confirm the format to do. But with that, LiftingCast has a template to automate this process. So I'll just bring that up quickly. It is in Excel, so it is easy to manage if you're familiar with this, or you're familiar for working our normal national meets or recognized competitions. So I'll just zoom in a little deep here. So we just have some columns are optional, and some columns is easier to do within the system, but I just listed some of the primary ones and just some advice if I were to be a technical delegate, how I would best manage it. So on most applications, if any Brazilians are watching, you'll recognize some of these names and some of the provinces or regions. So I just use a test meet from Brazil. They have lots of athletes, and you're able to simulate a good national competition with this. So with working with the local organized committee, you'll have some basics. So for sure, you'll have the name, whichever region or club they're representing, based on how you run your championships. Excuse me. The lot number I left empty because through LiftingCast we're able to do the lot draw. So for some of you technical delegates, I'm sure you'll appreciate this. You're not having to input random numbers or do something on a different website to create these. The platform in the session I listed, and the flights I listed as well. I'll get back to this in a second. I'll zoom in a bit more so you can see. So the date of birth. So maybe in some meets you don't need to include this, but LiftingCast itself recognizes our junior age group categories, and it's able to do a reference and convert the birth date into a number age. So you're able to do the verification if you need to create and input them in a junior category. The member number, so if you're running a meet where the results are recognized, you can input their SDMS number, their gender, raw or equipped. So this is a powerlifting term. So for us, most of our athletes are competing raw, so not using any specialized equipment to enhance their lifting measures. The division, so most working with your local organizing committee, you'll see their primary division and the body weight category they've declared into. I included some extra information. Basically, the technical delegate of the meet, I'm sure some of you know this, that they'll be creating with the LOC, local organizing committee, the competition schedule. So by having some things like the number of athletes within a certain body weight category, you can start planning your meet So most meets at a national level, I'm presuming, will only have one platform. This is maybe a power IPF term that they'll have multiple FOPs to complete the movements on. So most will just have one. So I just included just all the one, and the session. So from designing the schedule, if you want to, in this meet, I use the methodology outlined in the technical official handbook on how to create and divide the different sessions. And this is just, it helps you, you're able to do this directly on LiftingCast, but if you find it easier to manage and more comfortable to do by Excel, it's an option to do it through that as well. So you'll see for the women's categories, I have it as the first session. I think half of the athletes are the lighter body weight categories, all competing together in separate body weight. I guess we could assess this afterwards. Yeah, the medal allocation method. In the second session, I guess everyone, all the women's athletes above up to 67. I included the body weight category, or the imported body weights, but through LiftingCast, you're able to do this directly in the system. Some things like the bench rack and the first attempt, mostly as a regular competition would run, you're going to collect this during the weigh-in, just like a regular meet would, but for the sake of time, I'm going to include it in this upload, but just to show that you're able to upload lots of information with that, and most of it you'll be able to get from the local organizing committee, which is good. So just, and it's in a CSV, same thing, easily editable and uploadable, which is nice. And presuming most local organizing committees use Excel to manage, or some sort of database to be able to export and import with Excel. So most likely ensuring it's compatible. So just jumping back to LiftingCast, we'll do the same as for the awards import. So here we have select lifters file. So the template is available on the Technical Official Hub because it has to be formatted in a certain way, or just include that information. So the same information that was displayed in that Excel, you'll see now it's all in LiftingCast. So you'll see it's all imported, and the same, you just need to confirm the import of lifters. So it'll prompt you with a little reloading screen. And confirm that all the lifters are imported. So if you go over to lifters, excuse me, you'll see that there they are. And as I mentioned, so it takes the birthday and converts it to an age. So you'll see this. Barbosa would be a junior. Chid will be a junior as well. So with that, it'll help you organize everything. One thing I do want to mention quickly, so this import lifters, one downside right now is that, let's say you have a late registration through lifting, or through in the competition. If you would go back to either the awards or the import page and you import more lifters from that exact same file, it would add all the lifters again. So you'd have some duplicates. So there's two ways around this: either uploading all your lifters at the final minute before the entries and maybe doing some tests so you're comfortable with it, or only adding the lines of data, or saving an additional file and only adding the lines of data of those new lifters. So as I said, all this information is editable directly on LiftingCast. So you'll see the awards category. So if the athlete during the technical meeting changes their body weight category, let's say this Alves de Silva changes from plus 107 to, let's say, up to 107, you're able to edit it there. To change if he's changing the different session or the flight, things like this. One thing I want to mention on this page, because maybe you'll be hopping back exactly as that example I used. that after the technical meeting, the athlete changed body weight categories. All of these arrows help organize and sort the data. So for example, by session, so because we did this already on Excel, we're able to sort. You have a filter button as well. So let's say gender, if you want to look only at the women, or for a specific name, you'll see that it would filter only the women. So you're able to, excuse me, adjust the platform or adjust the session or the flight, whatever information you need. One thing that I assume you'll ask, and I just want to mention right off the get-go, so you'll see that I added every athlete as a senior, say for example. To add them as a junior, so let's find a junior. Here we go, the first athlete. So Delima, so she's registered women's senior up to 41. So to add her as a junior, you just do this plus, same raw, women's junior, and up to 41. So there on the results, the system would recognize that there's up to 41 senior category, up to 41 junior, and recognize the number of athletes that are in it. So as I mentioned, I already inputted some basic things just for the sake of time. One thing I want to mention quickly is, let's say this athlete, so I'll use Delima as the example. So she's registered into women's up to 41. If she weighed in at 45, there we go, it'll show that in red there. I'll zoom in a bit more so maybe you can see more clearly right there that she is outside of her category. So just something worth noting, that it helps support you as the weigh-in official. So I did say it has the LiftingCast can do the lot draw number. So when here you see the generate lot numbers, just going to get rid of the filter. So that filter, you go clear all, it'll show me the men and the women again. So as we know, to generate lot numbers, it's very general, or it's not by specific body weight category, it's not by men or women, it's just overall the athletes competing in the competition. So you click this generate lot numbers button, it'll prompt you, warning, this will overwrite all lot numbers, this cannot be undone. So this just means if you add a late entry, let's say, either you need to manually allocate that lot number or reallocate every lot number for every athlete. And we want to uncheck this order lot numbers by flight. So I guess IPF has some sort of rule that it's allocating the lot numbers by the specific group in our terms, so we don't do this. So you'll click generate. Normally, remember the lot draw number is done after the technical meeting, so you just do this generate. It'll do another loading screen. And you'll see that the lot numbers were randomly drawn. So you'll see it's not following a specific session. Right now it's sorted by from lowest to highest, but if we go back to the session, they're randomly allocated. So now that we have our athletes in the bodyweight categories, I'll start running through some of the other pages. So I'll jump ahead right now. So yeah, after the technical meeting, so you'll do some adjustments, like if an athlete changes categories, you could jump back to this lifters page and adjust little things like that. Making sure the athletes are registered in senior and junior if your national competition runs this way. I'll go to the paperwork. I'll jump ahead to paperwork. So as I said, LiftingCast does automate a lot of the processes that we'd manually do by Excel or Word at a national competition. So we'll see by session, it has all these different forms that we'd use. So this check-in page is maybe for entry verification. Let's say at a World Cup, let's say we're giving one sheet to each country. We have the kit checklist, so this will have to having creative interpretation of the kit check form. or the kit checklist. So sorted by session, we have this weigh-in. So you'll see the order of the weigh-in by the lot number, by the session. Or you could, this rack height we don't advise using. This is something from powerlifting. We have the attempt cards, so in 2 different formats. So whatever you prefer, this is more looking like the one we're using. So same deal for the basic information. You're able to include some of the changes. If you press Control P or a file print, you're able to print all of these to a local computer with the basic information of that. So you could cut these and use these similar to as you would at a regular competition. Maybe this is the page, this jury page could be used for the manual results controller for each session. And you'll have this results protocol. So if you have a protocol or medal ceremony department, this will help show the different award categories, and then after we're running through the results, it'll have the actual athletes' names. So for the speaker announcer, or for the technical announcer, speaker announcer, and for that protocol team. And we could show more, so show specific sessions and all this. So these are most of the forms that we use at a regular competition, all automated, which is great. And they're able to be printed out. Just press File Print or Control P, Apple P, based on whatever computer you're using. So about the weigh-in. So if you do have multiple, if you are running the weigh-in not concurrently with another competition, you can either use that weigh-in form. So just like as we would at a regular or most World Cups, we would have just that weigh-in sheet that the weigh-in and TC3 are the weigh-in official and the technical controller 3 are inputting by hand or by pen and paper. The weigh-in weight with the additions on the attempt card plus that weigh-in sheet. So the technical delegate or someone maybe that's assigned to be the operator of the scoring system can manually input these body weight categories and the rack height in the first attempt. So I know at some World Cup level competitions, this is what we're doing. Just excuse me 1 second. I'm just gonna get my water bottle so I'm not coughing. Great, sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, you could run like we would with World Cup and do that input by the paper or by the scoring system operator if you assign somebody as this position. So there's some other things like stats. So just showing the some details about the number of athletes. Really, this is for the technical delegate. Maybe it's not so important, just more weird things about seeing the status of different competitions, showing when the first lift versus the last lift, and showing if it was over time. Excuse me, some things like this. Some things like the streaming feed. So if you have a video provider that wants to overlay some TV graphics, you could use these. This we don't, unless you're experienced doing this or you have a provider that's experienced doing this and linking data, we don't encourage using this. The results protocol, so at the end of the competition, you could export, you could just see the results, but you could also export it into Excel to send to World Powerlifting or whatever provider or organization you're working with. So you're able to export it and create a results book or something like this. Roster, so this is just like a quite simple way of organizing the start list. So you'll see, and then you're able, you click on that specific athlete, you'll see details about that specific athlete. So really over the top, really detailed. Most important is how to run the competition. So that's on, let's go back to this hamburger. So you'll see we have one platform, platform 1. You have these buttons. So we have run, we have board, display, referee left, head, and right. Just want to mention quickly, I'm not going to really go into referee left, head, and right. LiftingCast does have a paid option, so that there's live scoring in the sense that you could log into the LiftingCast website and see the scoreboard from any device or just anything on the internet. They do charge a fee of 75 cent US dollar, or like 0.75, so 75 cents US dollars per athlete to utilize this feature, as well as utilize this referee left, head, and right. The server itself, we've talked to LiftingCast a bunch. It is located in the US, so if you're in the Americas, it will work faster. If you're located in a different region, it might work, and there might be a delay just based on the location of the server. So just want to put that out there, but you can use LiftingCast free as you would at a regular competition, perhaps using flags or cards. But this referee, these referee pages, you need to be logged in. There's more details about this in the handbook we created, but you're able to basically log in from a personal device like an iPhone or a tablet, and the referee could input their decision on this, like the referee terminal, and it'd be linked to the system. But there is a fee related to that. So now I'm going to talk about run, board, and display. So this is really the gritty parts of running the competition. So I'll jump over to board and display. So let's go to actually board. So board is the warm-up scoreboard, or the front of house scoreboard. So one thing I want to mention, this is like the settings cog. You'll see this, and you're able to define what's displayed and really customize the width of certain things so that you could actually have the country's flag, the team name, the lot number, body weight category, lots and lots of details. So I customized this. I think the standard, it would include the squat, like the 3 squats, the subtotal, blah, blah, blah. So I went in this and got rid of it. So and only including some key details. The details of what normally we would display at a competition. So things like the on the front of house and back of house, the lot number, the specific body weight, the body weight category, round 1, round 2, round 3, the total, the specific division, the forecasted, forecasted best lift, and the placing for that specific body weight category. So you're able to completely customize this. So I have in the book what's recommended or what we use at a regular competition, but you are able to customize it as you wish. One thing I want to mention, so it does show the attempt board, and we have these 3 dots if you are using that live system. Just want to advise clicking this auto scroll. So it's just, you'll see that it has all the different sessions and all the different body weight categories. If you click this auto scroll, it will move with, it will automatically scroll. Just want to mention that. And the same on the display. Excuse me. So same thing, you're able to customize everything. You'll see the settings button again. Same deal, you're able to customize what's displayed. So this is more for the front of house, I would say. So you have the athlete's name, the attempt board. So the basic details. You're able to say we want to hide this away. We're not using the live option. You're able to hide it somewhere so no one sees it. You're able to move some things around, like the weights. So right now it's all a generic, whatever it says, athlete AAA. When we're actually running the meet, it shows the correct athlete. So just rest assured that this is just a template. So you're able to format things, and based on your setup and what you want to display. So let's say you have a dedicated computer for the attempt board, you could really zoom in and only show exactly like our attempt boards would be. So the athlete's name, the clock, and the weight of, or the display of the discs. Details like if the athlete's successful, they'll move from first to placing, like we have at some competitions, the scoreboard itself, and the next athlete. And you're able to adjust the size of these. You want to make it bigger, you want to make it smaller. And I just want to mention the display and the board pages are linked with the run page. So as you're progressing through the meet and really controlling the meet, so really controlling the meet is through the run page, these other pages are being automatically updated, even though you're on the run page. So jumping to the run page. The run page is the most important. This is when you're at the competition, you're in the specific session. This is where your operator is really going to run the meet. So again, suggest putting this auto scroll. We have our timer. At most meets, we're having the bar and collar that weighs 25 kilos. So they have different options. I know, I think in weightlifting and powerlifting, they have different bars, weights, bar weights for the different categories. But for us, we know the bar and the collars is 25 kilos. So we're able to set this. The timekeeper, for this, we'll have to have a creative interpretation. We'll have to have the operator. Really, at a national competition, we know many people are wearing many hats, so this is a bit more feasible. Because this operator in theory could be the weigh-in official, and it could be the marshal, as you'll see in a minute, and could be the timekeeper. Just want to show that you could add the countdown clock, so you could set the timer. And if you press, this is the start button for the timer, you'll see that the clock is running. So if you have that board, so this may be in the warm-up hall, you'll see that the athletes in the back will see the clock, which is a really good positive. I'll zoom in so that's clear or bigger. So you'll see that that clock is running. You're still able to do other things, but it is updated. To stop that, you'll press this, I don't know, semicircle, and it'll stop that. You're able to adjust. And this is useful for things like if you have a category, we know some of our rules that if an athlete, whatever, we have subgroups of, with less than 5 athletes, we're adding extra time. So you're able to do this as well. You're able to override that. Or if an athlete is going immediately after themselves, let's say for an error in loading, an error in announcing, you're able to adjust it to that 3-minute period for them to reset. So I'll just add an attempt for this athlete. So let's say 50 kilos. So really to control the competition, you're going to scroll over, go to bench. You'll see these 3 dots. Move over quickly so we just see that more clearly. So we have a couple options. So we have set as current attempt, mark as good attempt, mark as bad attempt, move to the end of the round. So let's say first lift, first group, first session, we're going to set her as the current attempt. So on the board and on display, we see that it's been updated. So we see, okay, she's lifting whatever, 50 kilos. We see the load on the bar. We see that her name is highlighted down here as the first attempt. She doesn't have a body weight apparently. So we could actually click on her name. Can we edit her directly? No, we'll have to go back to her lifter. Here, let's just. So we'll see. So let's say the time length is 2. If you click start, so you'll see her attempt started. You'll see the countdown clock. She'll enter the FOP as normal. Say she starts her attempt. We'll stop it, reset the clock, wait for the referees to provide their decision by cards, by flags. And let's say it was a no lift. So no lift. Move on to the next athlete. See, okay, her name is called Perez de Andre. Or start her clock. But you'll see that this operator could also be acting as the marshal. So you'll see that she has the 1 it starts doing a countdown. In her second attempt, she needs to provide the lift attempt. So it'll show that 1 minute countdown. It won't do a buzzer, it won't do anything like this. Even for the attempt itself, if you still want to do a buzzer, you'll need some sort of external sound to initiate this. So maybe it is beneficial to have a secondary timekeeper to be able to do some sort of alarm. But you're able to input, let's say she's going to jump up to 55. So you'll see, say she starts her attempt and it's good lift. So same, you'll see that it'll wait now for her second attempt to be provided to the marshal. And you'll be able to adjust the bench, the rack height, and things like this. So one thing I do want to mention quickly, I'll zoom out. So once we get to, let's say, I'm just going to skip ahead a bunch. So good lift, good lift, good lift, good lift. So this is the end, the last athlete in session 1, group A. So let's provide our decision. We do need to, it recognizes that session 1, so even though every session is lifted or is included, it will jump to the second round of session 1. So even though this operator will see all the athletes, it will wait for that session or like the first session, the first group to be finished. So just want to mention that it does include some stats, like we'll see here. So we have 8 lifts completed, 118 remaining out of 126 of the whole competition. So just want to mention that. So, and it is linked. So I know I've been sharing a lot of information, but you see just quickly, you'll see, I just want to mention, so once that 1 minute timer runs out, you'll see that exclamation mark that they haven't inputted a decision. I just want to mention quickly, if you go back to the 3 dots, you're able to clear the attempt. So clear the decision, override it to mark it as a bad attempt. Let's go back. So let's go clear results. So move to the end of the round. So we'll see that, let's say there's an error in loading or announcing. You're able to override the system to move that athlete to the end of the round for something like this, if they elect to repeat their decision or to repeat their lift attempt. Just want to show again the board. So you'll see that in that warm-up area scoreboard, you'll see that the lift decisions are being updated. So green for good lift, red for no lift. That star for something special like a redo attempt. That blue for the next athlete. So, and the placing being updated. So really, really cool information. Lots of, you'll see, similar to a World Cup. So your athletes, your coaches, the spectators will get a lot more information. And I think it's a really good improvement. So you'll see, yeah, again, I just want to mention that display board of the information as you want it. So just quickly, I want to jump back and mention something. One thing I want to mention, it's listed also in the book, but I just want to say explicitly. So if you are customizing your setup, so let's say whatever we don't want to display round 1 or we want to remove the squat, to save this, so the next time you open it, it remains. Normally it's going to be displaying something like a code, like a long code like this. So you'll copy the code or the HTML code up there. You'll go back to your setup, and this is where default display view URL. So you'll copy and you'll paste it into that field, and it makes it so that whatever format you set will be saved the next time you close and open LiftingCast. So that's why it saved my preferred setup. You could customize the background. So if your local organizing committee, let's say, has sponsors and they want to display those logos, you're able to display them if it's an HTML image. You're able to customize the font color. I don't know if you maybe your country colors are yellow and you want to display yellow, you're able to do so. It's going a bit crazy for me right now. And to just customize everything. So I just wanted to mention that to save your template of this, it's important. So you'll see if you go back to the results, it will sort them by junior and senior, and all of this. Being able to print this, you're able to export it to Excel, and all of this. So really, you can see that really efficient to organize all your information to run a national meet. So I know that's a lot of information. I see we have some people on. So far, no questions, but I encourage you, if you want me to run through something specific, this is a good time to do so. I'm just going to go through some of my notes on the off end. I'm just going to jump back to my presentation quickly, actually, to just round out. Stop sharing. Jump back to my PowerPoint slideshow. So just about the displays, like I said, my advised setup. So we have that at temp board, normally at a competition. We have a field of play scoreboard. We have a warm-up scoreboard. So just from my advice, based on your setup, I encourage to minimum have these three. So to have one TV or monitor on the FOP to act as your temp board. So to show that on the FOP, maybe a projector as your scoreboard for the spectator, showing a bit more different information, and in the warm-up, so your athletes in the warm-up hall, in the warm-up area, have an idea of who's next. It'll help support your TC technical controller in that warm-up area. So with this, the setup we advise is to hard cable it all. So I know there are some options where it could be wireless, maybe using Google Chromecast or Amazon Fire TV sticks or Apple TV, something like this. We do advise, so it's steady, so there's no issues, to hardwire this. So what we mean by this is having that main operator computer and having a long HDMI or VGA cable and a splitter like this from that main computer to that attempt board or to that display monitor. So this is just using a splitter. So there's a splitter box, and this is what we do at World Cup level competitions. So we did in World Championships, regional championships, and games. So it's hardwired. So it's just important you communicate that to your local organizing committee to make sure that runs. So you can have the ideal setup to support your technical officials, to support the athletes and support the coaches, to have the information they need to have a good meet. And really cool for the front of house to have that scoreboard, to have all that information readily available to them in a nicely formatted way, really fast, really automatic, all from that main operator's computer. So as I mentioned throughout this presentation, we do have a full guide on how to use this. I don't know how many pages it is. Look quickly, 58 pages. So we have a 58-page guide, step by step, detail, custom for World Powerlifting, how to use LiftingCast for your national and local level meets. So big shout out to the technical advisory group or the officiating advisory group that supported big on this. Some other select technical officials that have a lot of experience running meets at the national level that supported in developing and testing this. Again, shout out to LiftingCast. They did a great job wanting to be involved, willing to be involved, supporting the sport at the grassroots level, and really helping the sport grow. So on the Technical Official Hub that most of you should have access to, we have a section under technical, I think, and it's a heading Technical Delegate. So we have a guide to LiftingCast, so it's the booklet. Within that, we have it as an interactive book, but it's also as a PDF, so you're able to print it. So I have one printed here. So if you want to do this, so maybe you're at the meet and it's like you have a bunch of handwritten notes, or you're running your national meet and you want to reflect on something, maybe it's a bit easier to do on paper. So you'll do that. We have a bunch of frequently asked questions also in this. Set up like some questions about the display, but really detail how to use it. So it is on Technical Official Hub under Technical Officiating / Technical Delegate. Just want to specifically mention, so the website is liftingcast.com. So there's the direct link there. It's also available on the hub. World Parapowerlifting's email, so info@worldparapowerlifting. Reach out to us on the hub. If you have a question, feel free to ask us. Seeing some quick comments. Yeah, it's a really cool software. Obviously, in 1 hour, I quickly showed you how to use it, but most importantly is to practice. So, and we have some key advice there under the frequently asked questions, some standard things. Most important for the technical delegate, for the technical officials, is to be confident in how to use it. And the best way to gain confidence is to practice and to create a template meet, to run through it, to run through all the situations yourself, and to gain that confidence and that experience. But we can assure you, you quickly saw that it'll really support your national and local level competitions, improve how they look, improve the efficiency, give more information to the coaches and the athletes, and it's a really good hop, skip, and jump forward. So with that, if you have any, I'll hang around and I'll ramble a bit if you have any questions. Appreciate the people coming on and attending this. It will be recorded, so immediately, maybe 30 minutes after this, I'll be able to upload the recording to Lifted and also to the Technical Official Hub. I did earlier put the link to the feedback form. As we said in the past, encourage you to provide some feedback through that feedback survey. It'll help the officiating / technical advisory group and the education and development advisory group to be able to maybe Saturday night at whatever, or Saturday at whatever time you want this, or this is being delivered isn't the best time for you. By providing us feedback, we're able to schedule it on a different day. I do want to mention quickly, we do have lots of activities going on in the Technical Official Hub. So we'll have that monthly Judge the Lift activity, 15 lifts, 5 from each angle. Immediately you get that the technical advisory group's decision. So trying to make that judgment across and interpretation and application of the technical rules consistent across the different, across the world. We have refresh evaluation, so encourage you to check that out. So it's been a crazy year. So we have a practical evaluation, English, theoretical. Encourage you to check that out. Recently we announced this annual survey. So encourage you to provide your feedback through this annual survey. Pretty detailed, maybe 20, 30 questions, but about officiating in general, your feeling, how you want to learn, what you want to learn, some things for the future to help us design some more initiatives for you, the technical officials. We want to communicate this is all for you guys, and we're trying to do things to help support you and best support you in performing your role. And however we can help, it's your feedback is most important. Just specifically about those, that annual survey, those refresh evaluations, they're open now through, I think, actually December 1st, many of them open, these refresh evaluations, but they're open through January 17th, so through that December holiday period for some countries. And in 2 weeks' time, we'll have our Part C of the Technical Officiating webinars. So this is Saturday, December 12th, maybe 6.5 hours before the presentation tonight. So it's at 12:30 Central European time. For those in the Americas, it's at 6:30 in the morning. Rest assured, in 2021, we're going to adjust these so it's better suited for those in the Americas. So you could attend without having to have 3, 4, or 5 coffees. So I don't see any questions coming in. I have one question about what is better, OpenLifter or LiftingCast. So OpenLifter is another free open source timing and scoring software. We did evaluate both, and we opted with LiftingCast mainly due to the fact that it had the timekeeping clock integrated directly in that, whereas OpenLifter did not. So this was why we thought LiftingCast was better. For this reason, they're really keen to work with us and to integrate some of our rules like the AH formula inside of it. So yeah, I just want to reiterate, December 12th is that next webinar series presented by the TAG. Encourage everyone to attend, encourage others you think are interested that weren't able to attend live to check it out. We'll have the recording available immediately after this. It's available for you. Again, we're communicating lots of things through the Technical Official Hub. It's built for you, it's built to support you. We've got some recognition from some other, from Moodle or the provider itself about how great this initiative is. We want to best support you. This year's been a bit crazy. We know we're used to many different competitions at every level, national, local, regional, international level. Fortunately, we've seen many of them postponed. So some things like these initiatives are really important to support you, to maintain that technical knowledge, to keep your mind thinking about the sport and the rules, and also to connect us. It's been a really crazy year. Normally we're used to seeing each other, spending some time together at competitions, at the venue and outside of the venue. So this is a good opportunity to connect technically and personally. So we hope everyone's safe. I say this at every presentation, but we hope you're safe. We hope everyone's well. You're following the protocols and the regulations put in place by your governments, the local and national, provincial, state level, as well as the regulations and suggestions put in place by your national health organizations. It's important we follow these and help the spread, or to help stop the spread of the virus. And yeah, we encourage you we appreciate your time and we appreciate everybody being here. It's nice to connect with everyone, and for those that aren't able to attend or aren't so active on the Technical Official Hub, you're allowed to give them a nudge and say encourage them to check it out, how great it is. I think the most beautiful thing about it, and the thing I think we're most proud of, is that information is accessible, and that it's not limited to being face-to-face or traveling to a competition. Now everything is available to everyone, and supporting technical officials all over the world at every level. It's important that this information and everyone's learning. So I'll stop rambling. I want to highlight again the survey for this, the webinar series and the webinars we're delivering. The annual survey that's open now. So this we plan to do annually. We're planning to produce a report, and it's really going to advise us on the next steps forward, planning towards next year and the services we're delivering at competitions, as well as through the Technical Official Hub. The refresh evaluations, so these are opening December 1st, so Tuesday. Open for 6 weeks. Encourage you to check them out, do them, help get your brain flowing about the technical rules. The weekly bi-weekly make the call discussions, monthly judge the lift activities. I just want to end, and then 2 weeks time, the part C, the last part of the 3 ABC series from the technical advisory group. So I encourage you to check that out. You'll get a reminder 3 and 1 day before, but it's on Saturday, December 12th. So just to wrap up, yeah, again, thanks to everyone being here. Hope everybody's safe and you're following these protocols put in place by your national provincial, state, local governments, and following the protocols put in place by your national health organizations. Stay safe, everyone. Take care and see you soon.